There's a pretty, I wouldn't say famous, but a pretty well known previous former FBI negotiator who makes videos on YouTube. Talks about is in negotiation, the first thing he talks about is get the other person to say that's right, like, oh, that's right. But what I'm going to be talking about in this video is something that I've used like real life experience with in my own negotiations. I saw it 2 times this week. It reminded me of this. It's not the same thing, but similar, so I wanted to bring it up. And what he talks about is getting the person that you're negotiating with to say no, because every single sale you're ever in, you're trying to get the person to say, do you like this? Yes. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah. Like people know that as a salesperson, when they're being sold something, is going to be asking yes questions. So not to throw them off, but when you use no, 2 reasons. One, it helps with conviction because it helps with clarity, but it helps with conviction from the standpoint of if they don't want something, if they really don't want a certain result, it gets them more convinced, like, and something to this effect where we're able to say no, it gives them more conviction that they need your product or service. The case that I saw twice this week though is I think when you're negotiating, you need to, in some instances, make the other person, if not saying this verbatim, the only thing I ask is that if you don't like it, you're able to tell me no. Can you do that for me? So it's like a one-liner you can use. And what this does, one, it creates clarity because a lot of the time, everybody's human. When you're selling something, even if it's the perfect thing, whether you haven't built the rapport properly or you haven't built the value on the proposition properly, we're human. We all want to be liked. So we don't necessarily want to say no to somebody's ideas because we want them to like us just because we're human. And most people haven't been taught or trained themselves to be able to say no in the majority of situations and cases. So what you can say to the prospect is, the only thing I ask is that you're able to tell me no if you don't like it, because you don't want to be trying to pitch someone who's not who's not a good prospect for you, but you can't tell that because you can't say no. And if if they're afraid to say no to you because they want to be liked because they're human, which is normal, you can't get them the best possible product or service in their hand, because if they're not willing to turn down one, whether they say I want to think about it, or they whatever BS they use, like to not have to confront the yes or no decision on the spot for whatever reason. They're human. I don't care if it's because they're not used to making decisions. I don't care if they just don't want to say no because they don't want you to not like it. Like whatever the case, they're human. You're selling to humans, so act like it. But when you put it on the table that you're open and want them to say no if they need to, if they say no to one, that opens the better opportunity for the next product, because now you can get a better idea of, okay, seeing that you said no to this, bet, cool, we're on the same page, we're not doing this, we're in agreement. I'm not going to fucking force it down your throat. Like, I want to get to the fucking big we're the same page is we both want to create a deal together, right? Like, we're not fucking sitting on the phone to waste each other's time. We both want to make some shit happen, make some fucking money. So once you get the no out of the way, then you can move to, okay, what did we not like about that? I like this, but I didn't like this. Oh, you didn't like that part, like whatever the case may be. But you can't do that if the other person's afraid to say no. So using no as a tool in sales and negotiation as a way to draw out clarity and get the person closer. And I like one of the things Jordan Belfort's coached on is one of his one-liners, which works phenomenally, is the only thing I ask, you can use in a bunch of different, the only thing I ask is that after you're wildly successful with this, you give me a bunch of referrals, or the only thing I ask is that you give me a shot, or the only thing I ask is that in 6 months from now, blah, 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 like whatever. That's not the point. The point of the one-liner is the only thing I ask is that you're willing. I think it was either Jordan Belfort or Tom Hopkins. The only thing I ask is that you're willing to say no if you don't like something. Can I count on you for that? And now it holds them accountable to a yes and to a no, because they're already going to say yes if they like something, but if they don't like something for these reasons that we talked about, they might not want to say no. So this gets past that and it gets you closer to the end goal, the negotiation, the closing of the sale, the closing of the deal, whatever the case may be. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe. Thanks for listening. I hope it put some fucking money in your pocket.